Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Welcome to our discussion of Season 1, Episode 6 of The Crowded Room. Let's do our round of introductions and dive in.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Kate. So this episode is called Rya, and it was written by Suzanne Heathcote and Akiva Goldsman and directed by Mona Fastfold. So I was thrown off for a second at the beginning of this episode with the little boy with the blonde hair. Obviously, in this episode, we're very excited. It's finally safe to say the things that we've been thinking for a while about the multiple personalities. Rya's questioning was aggressive enough early on that we've been noticing a lot of evidence leading to what everybody finds out in this episode. So good work talking around it, my friends. But anyway, this episode opens with a different little boy walking down the hall. So at first I wondered if it was perhaps a different childhood personality we hadn't met at first. But then he gets to his mom's room where we find Rya sleeping. So she has a kid, which is surprising. And it seems his belly hurts. But I was more concerned in the moment about Rya's stomach since her bed was covered in blood for some reason. But when she gets up, it turns out it's just a red pen. So that's a relief. She, I guess, has been grading papers because we also learn in this episode she's a professor. She doesn't have a whole lot of sympathy for poor Ezra, though, and sends him out to get ready.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, that I think she said she's going through a divorce, so she's kind of becoming a single mom, I'd say.
Yeah, I mentioned a few times in my notes that she's not like the best mom.
And so I thought it was like parallel to Danny's mom, because I also felt like that Ezra and the young Danny we see in the earlier episodes are kind of this around the same age. So I felt like that maybe like Rya can relate to Danny's mom a lot, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of common ground there. Yeah, I noted that later too. But Rya luckily has her mom to help, which makes a big difference, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And also she just needs one job to kind of make a living.
Yeah, because she's a professor, which is, it's going to pay more than your bartending. But anyway, watching the poor kid pour Coca-Cola on his cereal was a whole new experience for me. After defending Coke for breakfast last week, I just would like to clarify that I would never defend Coke over cereal, just for the record. And I was sad for the little boy. Although Coke is good for a sick stomach, so maybe he's just got really good self-parenting instincts.
If it was on like plain cereal, maybe it would be better, but like Frosted Flakes, that seems like a disaster.
There's so much sugar.
Do you think she kind of, thought that maybe her son is just playing the stomach bug or just pretending to have stomach bug and not actually having any? So that's why she didn't actually, was concerned.
I don't think she gave him like 2 seconds of thought, to be honest.
Yeah, he's either done it before, right? Like to get out of school, or like it's literally just the Coke and Frosted Flakes that he's been eating that is causing his stomach problem.
I just think she's too selfish as a mom, and it's just not like focused on him at all because she's got a lot going on outside of that. That's my take. But
also I felt like, because I'm also a child of divorce, and what I also like, because she's still going through the divorce, so it's kind of a new situation for Ezra. So he kind of demands more attention, I think. I mean, obviously, this is not an excuse for Rya.
Yeah.
That's something that I could also probably read into it, that because the situation for him is so hard that he just wants more time with his mom and more attention and, stay with her. And she obviously, it's not the right reaction to just ignore him and ignore his needs. But
right. Yeah, I could definitely see him wanting more attention. But I think the thing for me is you don't see her give him any attention in the entire show.
Yeah.
Like not until the end when she's, learned what happened to Danny and Adam, does she even go cuddle him. So I don't know. I think that she's not giving him the bare minimum attention you should give your child, personally. But certainly the divorce is going to make it worse for him and make him want more. I don't know. It's just kind of sad to watch how she is with him, to me. Anyway, the grandmom's nice, though. She comes in, she's going to take Ezra to school, and then the mom and grandmom are arguing until the kid knocks the entire bowl of Coke cereal off the table, and Rya pieces out while the grandmom handles it. Yeah, so she and Candy have things in common. Struggling single moms trying to raise a boy.
And I'm pretty sure the mom is played by the Layla Robbins, who in fact was Serena Joy's mother on The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, I recognized her.
I know this woman somewhere.
She's a better
Seems much nicer.
mom here. Yes.
Yeah.
I like her. I think it would be really fun to be the kid in the scene, by the way, and throwing the cereal off the table. I wonder how many takes he had to do of that.
I wonder if he got to drink that, well, not drink, but eat the cereal with the Coke on it.
Ew, the Coke cereal. No, I would not want to do that.
Mm.
Even as a kid, I don't think. Maybe though. Probably as a kid you'd want to. Anyway, I like the kids in the show. They're very cute.
They are very good.
And it's actually Thomas Parobeck that plays Rya's son in this, who looks suspiciously like Johnny from Cobra Kai. Did you know he played young Johnny in Cobra Kai?
Oh no, I didn't, but I love that show. I'll have to go back and watch his scene.
Yeah, you can see it, right? Like he looks.
Yeah, definitely.
From home, Rya was rushing onto campus when the dean catches up with her, and we learn she's a professor and her tenure is in question. She implies it's because she's a woman. It probably is, since the dean even acknowledges they're technically a men's college. They rejected her grant in exchange for a male professor's grant. Her last topic of interest was bulimia, but apparently that's not special enough because anorexia has already been included in the DM, I think he said. That's a high bar, though, if you've got to find something, a brand new psychiatric syndrome in order to get your grant. Her classroom is packed to the brim, though, and she's professing on trauma, how even after the trauma, your mind can take you back to experiencing that exact moment all over again. Like a soldier returning from war can be set off by something as innocent as children playing at a picnic. Seems like the after effects of trauma is already a special interest of hers. And after class, the detective walks in. I was like, are they flirting? They are. This was all born from a one-night stand, it turns out. Must have been a good one, too, if he's chasing her and trying to woo her with potential psychopaths. So one thing I like about this episode is it puts the timeline in neater detail for us, since they've been purposefully trying to fool us by jumping around.
Yeah.
So this is a flashback of sorts. The scene would have taken place before she'd met Danny, but after the shooting. It seems at some point during their epic one-night stand, Rya let on that she was in need of a unique psychiatric case study or else she was going to lose her job. I wonder if she was hanging out at cop bars for this reason. Just kidding. I like them. I like them together. They have cute chemistry.
Yeah, it would make sense that they're cute together because they are married in real life.
Oh, really? That checks out. No, I love that. I did not know that. That makes me happy.
I wonder if they've ever been in anything else before, and now they're playing like kind of not really sex buddies, but they sort of had a one-night stand.
It's still a love interest, I would say.
Yeah, okay, love interest.
Oh, that's really cute. Rya decides to bite. And the next scene, she's walking into the station down a New York City street, absolutely overflowing with litter. I mean, that was an appalling amount of litter. It doesn't look that bad now, you guys, in case you're judging New York City by this show. I just want you to know. And then we're back in the police station, a repeat scene with a little more information. I like these repeat scenes, by the way, with the larger reveals baked in. I like how they've done that.
Yeah, now I'm trying to remember what like they cut around.
Was said.
You know what I mean? I saw that scene.
Yeah.
Right, same.
I thought like at least 2 times on the night, I was like, okay, I need to rewatch this episode. I need to rewatch that episode so I can see all the details.
Yeah, exactly. So Maddie's telling her that all the bills are in the name of some Israeli. Danny himself won't give his last name because it wouldn't serve. Same reason he gives for not telling the motive behind the crime, I believe. When Rya asks about Ariana, here's where the detective jumps to the conclusion he offed both Ariana and the landlord, which I'm still a little unclear here on what exactly they know or think they know about Ariana and the landlord. I guess Danny just told them about them. Obviously, he told them about Ariana, so I guess he told them about Yitzhak already too. But the cops convince Rya to meet with Danny, telling her she's got to meet him to understand how strange he is, the way he changes how he talks, he doesn't show any remorse, and Maddie adds that's what a psycho does. Despite Maddie's excitement over her finding a psychopath, she's still not convinced, like we saw the first time around. And they also mentioned that someone recognized him getting in a cab at JFK, presumably after London. So now that we've learned about his personalities throughout this episode, do you guys think that he really did go to London then? I guess so. Maybe we'll find out later, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he either just went to the airport or like pretended that he was going, or maybe he did.
I guess my only hang up is the passport.
Yeah.
But maybe Yitzhak handled it and got him a passport for this future scenario.
which is also weird because they didn't even know his last name until now, until he was already in custody, but he kind of implied that he was searched after with his full name.
Was the passport in his name though? Probably not, right? Maybe not. So it's probably a fake name.
The passport's supposed to be in the fireplace because he burned it. The cops did a very poor job of searching his house if Rya went there later and all the stuff is still there. All the
Right?
evidence.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right.
But I guess another reason that I have been thinking that maybe he did go to London is because like the guys at the other table, like staring at him funny and stuff. Like I don't see why that would have been baked into his imaginary trip to London, but it's hard to like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know. And
Hard to pinpoint, yeah.
did we ever find out last episode that his dad did in fact move to London? He did, right?
Yeah, he said he was moving there to set up a travel agency back when they were kids. So So yeah, I guess he just never saw him again after he was 6. But anyway, I still don't know if he went to London, but I guess if he got kind of picked up at JFK, I guess he did, most likely. But maybe we'll find out later.
One thing that struck out to me as well is with these 2 cops, like Frank, the older cop, and Maddie, the Rya's affair. They're kind of very different in their takes. So like Frank is more of a like quote unquote good cop in the situation and has rational thinking, I think. And then like Maddie really wants to kind of make him to be a serial killer, as we know again.
Right. Now we get to see the actual first meeting of Rya and Danny. I love the scene because he's got like 100% different attitude than we're used to seeing Danny have.
Yeah.
It's such a great reveal. He's still in the he's still at the police station interrogation room, so he can't have been apprehended that long ago, but he's cocky as fuck. He doubts her interest in getting him off the hook, even though he tells her Ariana did it. All before his big magic trick. He escapes from the handcuffs, which is interesting.
Where have we seen handcuffs before?
Yes. We saw them being purchased when he was younger, right? But we hadn't seen him actually escape them yet.
No, we hadn't. We just saw him purchase them. And usually when they show us stuff, it's going to come back.
Yeah. And we thought he was, because he was like showing off his magic at the time, that it was involved in that. So good practice, smart, good forethought on Johnny's part, learning that trick early on. Maddie rushes in to re-handcuff him and Danny's laughing on his way out the door. Nothing like the Danny we've seen with Rya previously.
Yeah.
In fact, he, once you've seen the handcuffs trick, you can see him as Johnny pretty well. You can see Johnny's personality coming out of Danny. So very exciting lead. And also explains why Danny's getting a cut of Johnny's drug dealing, because that really bothered me. And them being the same person.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And it's funny because the part where in the first episode we see him in cuffs, and the first time Rya sees him, he kind of waves at her. You know what I mean? Like through the window.
Yeah.
I thought when we saw that, I was like, that seems really weird. It doesn't seem like him.
Right.
So now, this episode, I realized that it kind of wasn't.
Not. Right.
Yeah.
I still think Rya's questioning was kind of like aggressive to make you kind of wonder about this earlier than this episode. But I do think it's cool how they only showed Danny and Danny's personality, the whole in all the earlier episodes. And then you learn the very first meeting that, he's a totally different version of himself.
Yeah, I think if you listened, definitely, like you said, if you listen to Rya's questioning, that was
a giveaway for me.
Yeah.
It was definitely why is she questioning him this way?
Right. Because she kept saying, okay, so he was everything you needed him to be in that moment, and he appeared out of nowhere, and then he disappeared. She was really banging those points.
Very convenient things happening all around you,
Right. And she was repeating it a lot. So even though I hadn't read the real story, it became evident that was likely what's going on. But Apple did not want us to reveal that, so it's exciting to be able to talk about it now.
So what episode did you kind of clock it the first time? You both didn't read anything, right? I didn't. So
that's right. It's a little bit tough. We did watch the first 3 pretty close together.
Yeah.
Definitely by 2. I just can't remember if it was in 1 or in 2 where I started to catch on, but it was entirely because of Rya's questioning. I think
Me too.
if it hadn't been shown through the lens of her questioning, then maybe it would have taken longer for me to catch on. And also it's been done, before. So it's something that your brain considers as an option now, I think.
Yeah, right. Definitely true. When I watched this episode, and they first brought up the ID, and when we also first see Danny as one of his alter egos, it kind of, I can't stop it, but it happens every time that I remember Split, like the movie. So
yeah.
So like with James McAvoy, and he does all those different characters in one, kind of.
Right.
And this is not long ago. I mean, I think the movie was from 2016.
I never watched that because that looked creepy as shit.
Yeah. It's not horror. I would say it's a bit psychological thriller.
I hate like psychological stuff like that though. I can't it seems to be able to stick with me.
Oh, I love it.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Holland in this show is also marvelous, like changing the personalities on cue and something like this. This is like the hardest thing an actor can do, in my opinion, probably.
Yeah.
Like switching personalities in a snap.
When we first saw Tom change to Jack, I got goosebumps, and I thought that whole scene was like when he was Jack was so good.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, the acting performance was amazing.
Walking outside, Rya tells Maddie she's going to pass, though. She's not convinced just yet that Danny is her career salvation. She also turns him down for dinner, which is too bad because they're cute together. Back home at dinner, Rya's real late and her mom's giving a shit for not giving Ezra any consistency. Ezra, who apparently spoke to his dad while she was gone, which displeases Rya immensely, so she grabs some wine. And she confides in her mom that her son pretty much hates her right now, won't talk to her, won't kiss her goodnight or cuddle with her. So what's she supposed to do? And her mom tells her to just keep on loving him the same way she has to do with Rya, no matter how hard she makes it.
Yeah, I liked it. Advice of her mom, kind of that.
Yeah.
You will love your kids no matter what they do because they're your kids, but
right.
I'm not sure if it's true for everyone.
She's nice though. I like the mom in this a lot. The grandmom.
Yeah.
And then Rya's having dinner with her ex-husband. She's voluntarily having dinner with him solo, but she's also telling him she doesn't want him talking to their son on his off days. So they have an odd relationship.
Yeah.
But it's definitely easy to see why she's divorcing him, as he's condescending and sexist and a bunch of lovely attributes. And he's been talking to her boss about her, which is obnoxious, and tells her that she's ruining her career with an obsession with extreme cases, outliers of psychological diseases, which is something that I've thought about in regards to her, but it also kind of made it seem like she needed to do something like that to get tenure from her dean. So
yeah, although they were saying they were telling her to go more mainstream stuff.
Yeah, so I guess she doesn't have to be as obsessed with that as she is.
Yeah, but I think like she says either now or later on, she says that people don't know about this kind of stuff, and that's why she wants to make it more known by the sounds of it.
Yeah, because it's also helping people.
Yeah,
she says later.
I think that's with the lawyer, right? She says that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ex-husband's giving her some psychoanalysis about this stemming from her own insecurities rather than caring about the patient, like we were kind of just discussing. Everyone loves being psychoanalyzed over dinner, right? Did you guys think it was implied in the scene that he was her professor, like they met when she was a student? Did you pick up on that or no?
I didn't know, but I was surprised when it was revealed that he was her ex-husband.
For some reason, I kind of thought that was what was going to happen. I'm not sure why, but
I just figured, like you said, it's a bit of a weird relationship. Like,
yeah, totally.
That they would have dinner together when she seems so adamant that she doesn't want him to call the kid, like not on his nights. Which,
yeah, it is weird.
Yeah, when they seem to have a sort of decent relationship.
I felt like maybe she thinks that he will kind of influence Ezra, like the kid, to like against her, or maybe that the father is the reason the kid is kind of cold towards her, you know?
Yes.
Parents do shit like this when they're going through divorce, like trying to say the other parent is not as good as, and, you know?
Yeah.
It's like weaponizing the kid against the other person. And I think that's the worst thing you can do. But this, for me, was like probably what Rya was thinking at that moment. Like that probably that's the reason why she doesn't want Ezra to talk to his dad that much. And
Yeah.
again, kid of divorce. So
I'm also a kid of divorce, but I was very happy when that happened. So
yeah, I was like, gladly my parents haven't been like this, or like towards me at all. Like my mom never said my father's shit, or vice versa. My father never said my mom is shit or something like this.
yeah, that's good.
But Dave is also a kid of divorce, and his parents, they were like crazy, and also their families were crazy. Like it's just like when he told me things that went down, and I was like, oh my god, this is like so like it's already shit that kids need to go through divorces, but when the parents behave that bad during this hard process, it's even more scarring for the kid, I think.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think the reason I thought that it was implied that he was her professor was she says something like, stop lecturing, we're not in class anymore.
Oh yeah, she does actually. So you might be right there that they met at the and considering he's talking to her boss as well, like maybe he does work there as well or something, or did.
Right. And just the condescending way that he is, kind of, it would add up, I guess.
It is the 70s, so
right, totally.
Back then it was
acceptable,
a lot more,
or common.
Yeah.
Anyway, in summary, towards the end of the dinner, he basically tells her what her mom said. She's hard to love, so hot and so cold, and he never knows who he's going to get with her.
I thought that was really interesting because of Danny. Well, just like what she's researching right now with him. I like that line.
Yeah, and between that and... Do you guys know what the movie is that's playing?
Yes, The Three Faces of Eve from 1957. Shout out to John, Violet's hubby.
Violet's husband. All right. Thank you.
Who immediately recognized through his expertise in movies and shows.
Well, I'm impressed. Yeah, so between that comment and that old movie, The Three Faces of Eve, playing in her room that night, she has a revelation. And she meets with her dean first thing in the morning, who tells her, if she can get that diagnosis, he will support the grant. Hell, he'd support a chair with her name on it if she could prove this mystery diagnosis that we don't know yet.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that movie is about Eve, who has more than one personality. It's probably one of the first movies with the DID main character, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very helpful clue.
Yes.
She even said, there's a lot of things you've never seen me do before. That's no sign I never do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought, like, before Violet asked what movie it is, and I thought, like, this is the movie Gaslight, where the term gaslighting comes from, kind of, where like people tell her things that don't exist, and you're supposed to believe them even though they're different, but which could have fit well with the discussion she had with her husband, I think, because he was trying, or ex-husband, he was trying to tell her things she should do and not done.
Right. But instead it is the exact same situation. So she goes home and throws away her work on bulimia, gets out an empty pad of paper. Even though she's only met with Danny the once, right? Still seems like a bit of a jump for her since, but they have, I mean, Maddie did tell her that his general dialect changes and personality. So she has a little bit of information. First stop is the ghost house. We're seeing everything in the true chronological order now. So she examines the house before she talks to Danny again. Only we didn't see what happened outside the house last time. Danny's mom confronts her and wants to know where her kid is. She invites Rya to her house, makes her a drink, where Rya sees a picture of Danny and Adam on the wall that was drawn by Danny, and shuts down when Rya asks about Adam and what happened to him, just saying he's been gone a long time. Outside, Candy tells Rya about Danny, that he got kicked out of school for drugs and fighting, even though he was smart. And then she cryptically says things just didn't turn out. Me and men. So she does blame herself a little, maybe. She swears to Rya, though, that Danny would never have attempted murder. He moved out a few years ago across the street. She figured she could keep an eye on him there since he didn't get along with her husband. And Rya asked her point blank if anything ever happened to Danny as a boy. It's important that she be honest. And once again, Candy just gets very defensive, tells her she doesn't know what people do. How could she? People do things that they don't look capable of all the time. And she just suddenly got to go to work urgently.
Do you think she knows then what Marlon did to Adam.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
her excessive defensiveness means she knew. Yes,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Maybe possibly not to the extent
Mhm.
of what happened, but
Right,
I think she definitely knows something was going on.
right.
Yeah, that's what I took away from it as well.
And that goes back to that scene too, where she and the question Ariana asked him, like, why did they let you move out? Why did your mom let you move out? And so I think that that's just more evidence that she knew what was going on in the house and that he'd be safer gone. But it's totally fucked up. Like the whole role of the other parent in sexual abuse, you know, it's just really upsetting depending on what they've known or not.
Yeah.
When Rya is going through the house, I mean, we've seen that some episodes before. She finds the note from Jack, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's the same note that we saw kind of earlier when that note was supposed to be given to Danny when he was in London, right?
Yeah.
So he took it all the way from London to his home, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack's glasses as well.
And Jack's glasses as well.
Yeah, that's another reason I was questioning London, but
Yeah, and like I asked to stop the scene when she's flipping it over just to read what's on the backside of the note. And it reads 3 beers and 3 scotch in the Winchester Atlas Lounge Hotel Bar and Restaurant. And we're not really sure, but it also most likely was had printed London on it. So
oh, it was a receipt from London.
yes.
Oh, so you did go to London.
Like with a little question mark on it.
Oh, no, that's very interesting. There we go. Okay.
Do you guys think that he would have asked the bartender for those drinks and then drunk them all himself? Or do you think each time he got a new one, he got Jack one, air quotes, and put it on the other side of the table? And
Yeah, I think so.
And then moved the seats. Like,
yeah.
I think he got 3 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably.
Don't mix drinks, Danny.
Oh, and also one other thing, there was a note once before, right? Like a note from Ariana at some point, right?
Yeah, I think there was about maybe like getting something from the shop.
Yeah.
Like milk or bread or something like that.
So I was like, okay, the handwriting is exactly the same on that note from Ariana and the one from Jack.
Yeah, that would be interesting actually. I'll have to get a screenshot of the other one so we can analyze it. But I'm guessing, yeah, it's probably going to be the same, right?
Yeah, it was the same. So because this was also a reason why I was wondering like what was happening if you actually went to London or not, and if Jack ever existed in episode 4, because it's like, okay, this handwriting is exactly the same as the handwriting on the note from Ariana a few episodes back. But
yeah, when Rya walks into Candy's house and you see the drawing of Adam and Danny like up with the other pictures, and she also mentions that Adam's been gone for a long time, so like we haven't yet heard obviously what happened to Adam outside of the abuse from Marlon.
Yeah, but she came across a little cold, I think, like his mom when Adam was brought up. Like, I mean, Danny said he's dead, and she was kind of, I don't know, maybe it's her self-blame or guilt she's carrying. We'll see.
Ezra's watching Happy Days at 10 o'clock that night as Rya's going through Danny's notebook of drawings. She stops on Jack's picture, traces his wrinkles, and then she goes back to Maddie. She wants to interview Danny again. When Maddie turns her down, she offers him dinner and he immediately lets her in.
Men is so easy.
Yeah, that was shameless. Like,
it's like even before didn't he like say yes? Like, oh, maybe she said no sex first. I was just like, man, you're easy.
Yeah.
So easy to persuade you.
Yeah.
In hopes that maybe she's lying about the no sex rule. Or maybe he just likes her and wants to take her for a nice dinner.
He does seem to like her. So, yeah.
I won't be mean to him. I'll just, what's the word? I'll wait and
The
see.
benefit of the doubt.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Danny's in the cell. Rya asks him to pass a message to Jack for her. And he points out he's kind of stuck, but she adds, just if you can, tell him I'd like to help. And then he asks her about Rikers. Apparently he's headed to Rikers.
It's interesting that she demands to speak to a certain persona, and then this persona takes over kind of, and she gets to talk to this specific alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did she choose Jack?
I think it was just because he'd mentioned the name Jack a few times to her and also the detective. So I think that just might be why.
I felt like first because she found the glasses and had the picture, and he was the most easy to identify because the accent changes a lot with his persona. So she can pinpoint the change from Danny to Jack better than probably to any other person.
Yeah, and I think his phrase too, it wouldn't serve, seems pretty British, like it came from the initial interrogation, like Jack was handling the initial interrogation, so that would make sense.
Maybe also because he's the most rational person and most intelligent of all of them. So
yeah, I just don't think she knows that yet. She hasn't talked to Jack yet.
She hasn't talked to him with a British accent yet, no.
Yeah, because she says that in the next scene. She's only talked to Johnny, right?
She's only talked to the confident boy.
Right.
We're like 2 weeks after Rockefeller at that point, right?
Right. So I think the only way that she could have decided she wanted to talk to Jack is because of the phrase it wouldn't serve and the glasses and the London,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I also would say definitely when the police officer said that they noticed an accent change with him, and she was like, okay, I can kind of go from there probably, like, this is something that I can easily recognize.
Right. And she doesn't have much. Yeah. And also I wanted to Rikers has a reputation per wiki for violence, both abuse and neglect of inmates. So the fact he's going to Rikers is quite scary for him. I think it's closed now, but now for their big dinner date, Maddie brings pizza over. And here's where we insert the breaking and entering conversation. It makes a little more sense now. We see why the picture of Jack struck her so much. She explains to us those are the glasses in the house. She points out Big Ben, asks Maddie if one of the dialects he referenced about Danny's meeting, was it British? So I guess that was just an assumption she was making, like we were just talking about, but now she'll know that. And now she suggests, what if Danny has another personality like Jack? Personalities that are unaware of each other, and therefore Danny is innocent. Maddie points out how insane she sounds and then catches on it would save her job. And she points out it would help a lot of people too. So hypothetically, how would this work? He asks. Somebody's got to gently tell him, and that person's going to be Rya. 3 weeks after the shooting, Rya finds Danny's lawyer at Legal Aid, Stan Camisa. She wants to tell him about this rare mental disorder to prep him for Danny's defense. He says he's seen the movie Sybil, which covers this topic, and tells her that ain't going to cut it in court. And she replies, he's not going to make it 5 minutes upstate. That's a Rikers reference. Rya needs to talk to Danny. This disorder is caused by childhood abuse, and she wants to help him. And she gets very threatening. One day, very soon, you'll wake up with this kid's blood all over your hands, and you can drip that in your fucking egg salad. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And it works. He tells her if she makes his life even an ounce harder, she's done. But here's the file. Xerox is on the back.
What's a Xerox? I've heard the word before, but I don't know what that means.
Oh, you're so cute. It's a copy machine.
Oh, like a photocopier?
Yeah, I think Xerox is the brand.
Xerox sounds like a drug.
Oh, yeah, like Xanax. It sounds like Xanax is what you're thinking.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. It's a photocopier.
Yeah, it was interesting though that he said, obviously he's met Danny before, and he said he talks in funny voices. He didn't just say a funny voice, he said funny voices.
Yeah.
So obviously the lawyers heard more than the one funny British accent.
Right. And I think she kind of expected him to not know anything about the case, or at least was aware that was a possibility because, free legal aid is really over busy and can't put the time in it that you can when you're paying someone.
Yeah.
But he did know, so that's good.
A nice little guest spot here from Christopher Abbott, who I generally get confused with Kit Harington because they look very much alike.
I can see that. But I liked him in this.
Although, weirdly enough, I don't think he actually looked like him in this scene. Is it him? Is
right.
it him? I was just, yeah, I was.
The fact that he didn't look like Kit Harington confused you and made you think that maybe it wasn't Christopher Abbott. Is that correct?
Yeah, it really did.
That's really funny. Sybil is a movie from 1976, by the way. Shirley Mason was a psychiatric patient whose life was portrayed in the 1973 book Sybil, which was made into a movie. The book and subsequent film caused an enormous spike in reported cases of multiple personality disorder, but Mason later admitted she had faked her multiple personalities.
Oh, she faked them. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
that's pretty crazy.
like his statement makes a lot of sense now. That like he thinks that probably Danny's just acting.
Yeah.
That he's fully aware of what he did and just pretending to be someone else and doesn't remember, kind of, right? So we got, like, in this episode, 2 movie references, kind of like the 3 Faces of Eve with the DID reference. We got now the Sybil movie with this reference. So it is kind of becoming more of a thing, I guess, at the end of the 70s. And I was interested in if there had been any awareness of this disease before. I heard that the real life case of Billy Mulligan, right? Milligan, kind of brought it to light. I think like it raised the awareness of DID in general, and like just legal sense, especially.
Right. 4 weeks after the Rockefeller shooting, Rya enters the interrogation room at Rikers. She asks the guard to uncuff Danny, and Jack walks in. Danny's body, Jack's personality. She immediately takes note of his different speech patterns, not just his accent, but his intelligence and the topics that he reads about and interests him. But she does ask about his accent. Are you English? And he professes to being a citizen of the world. I just got to say, Tom's amazing here. I was hoping we'd see him doing all the personalities, and assuming we would, since, I've actually avoided interviews a bit too, but I did see at least the title of the one that said that he's taking a year off acting because of how draining this part was.
Yes, I can completely understand that now.
Right, yeah. So watching the earlier episodes, I was like, oh, I hope, and I bet he's going to do the personalities, towards the end of the show. And he does not disappoint.
Yeah, he's also producing, which is also
a lot of work.
He's heavily involved with the production as well. So this is like,
right.
Yeah, so much work.
He's amazing. But anyway, Rya wants to talk about his history. Jack finds all that therapy talk about your childhood nonsense rather tedious. And he sits down, he admits he's Jack, and just before proceeding into an advanced lesson about physics, quantum entanglement, particles, and space and time, he drops the bomb Rya was looking for. Danny's here, but he's asleep. He implies he's Danny's guardian angel. And then he takes his leave, reminding Rya that these sessions are entirely voluntary, so he's in charge, not her.
I thought it was interesting that I think we go back to when Rya was talking with Candy, and Candy was saying he was like very bright as a kid, smart.
Yeah, he is so smart.
Kind of just shows in this personality. We didn't really see it that much with Danny, like the OG Danny.
Yeah, earlier in the show, you're right. Yeah, like you didn't see him sitting down reading Carl Jung, but you can picture that here.
Yeah, I like what he said when he was talking about quantum entanglement, which I have no idea what that is.
Which Kimberly's an expert on quantum entanglement.
All I can think of is Ant-Man and the quantum realm.
What bugs me about Ant-Man? Just quick, very important aside.
The last movie is fucking shit, but whatever.
Well, I didn't actually see it, but in Endgame, when Ant-Man returns from the quantum realm, I guess is where he was. Anyway, he is in like a storage unit, right?
Yeah, like the mouse gets him.
It helps him get out, right? Or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. No, but he's like holding up a sign that's like, help me or something, right?
Yeah.
To the security cameras. But it doesn't make any goddamn sense because he can turn into an ant. Like, what the fuck? Why didn't he just turn into an ant?
Maybe he doesn't have his like ant suit.
Does he require a suit? I guess he does because he's like basic.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man.
I'll consider this.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and it sounds lunatic if you haven't watched any of this movie.
Yeah. But it's brilliant if you have.
Is it Marvel or DC? I don't even know.
Oh, no, Julia. It's Marvel. It's so good. Endgame is one of the best movies ever. All right. Well, I don't even know why we're talking about Ant-Man. Oh yeah, quantum. Go ahead, Kimberly.
What I was going to say before I had discussion was that when he suggests that separation is not what we believe it to be, the idea that two particles can share characteristics without being at the same point in time. Something like that, he said. I like that little line. He's a very smart.
Jack. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it is very good and relevant, and he's so smart. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's a very relevant line to the story. You're right.
In this scene, or like at the beginning of the scene, we see Rya setting up the room we always saw having an interview, right?
Right.
Is this still in the prison somewhere, but more just comfortable place? I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. Like I kind of initially expected it to be more of a psychiatric hospital because it didn't feel very prison-like, but I think it is actually Rikers. Unless he's in a different prison before he heads to Rikers, because it really didn't feel like, a dangerous situation.
I think we're like now 3 weeks after Rockefeller when she starts to set up the...
It says 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. 4 weeks. And when she first meets Danny in this still police-like interrogation room, I think it was like 1 week after Rockefeller or something. So we have like 3 weeks in between.
Right.
But like, what would happen? Like, would he be in prison while his case is not finished?
Yes. What you would normally do is stay in like a jail. Not in the police station. That was weird how they showed it. Like it looked like Andy Griffith or something there. But usually you'd have a local like jail to stay in until you would be sentenced to go to prison. So, but anyway, that night, Maddie comes to her house with something that's obviously meant to blow her mind, a VHS. Something that will prove they'll never find the girl, presumably Ariana. But we don't get to see what it is just yet, just that she's equally fascinated watching the video.
I forgot about that one. Like, I was just like, no, they're not going to show us what's on this freaking video.
Yeah, hopefully they do. And then Rya's back in the interrogation room with Jack once again. She recalls that Jack quoted Carl Jung. Is it Jung or Jung?
He's German, and the name is correctly pronounced Carl Jung.
I can't say that. But like she said, Jack quoted him in the last episode. And so she quotes him, "You can't live without understanding your shadow." She's trying to convince him to work with her. Tells him to really look at her and tell her if he thinks that she would try to hurt Danny. And Jack reads her remarkably well. She's somewhat selfish and somewhat lost, but she would never hurt him. And that's very accurate. And they both have a common goal, she points out. They both want to help Danny. And then Jack gives in. He asks her to be gentle, though, because Danny doesn't really know about us. At the word us, she gets very excited, asks how many there are. But instead of answering, we see his face go through a series of small changes, indicating Jack was good on his word. And then Danny shows up to come talk to her. I liked the faces.
That was so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Tom's acting in that scene, it gave me like the chills. Like, when his face was shifting and he started crying, I was like, this is good.
Oh, I was so sad for Danny. He's so scared and sad and he's crying, asking where he is.
Yeah, I couldn't even begin to imagine what people go through when they have this. Like, it's just really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad to think about.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And he expresses that so well. And he's so different from Jack, obviously. Once again, he really crushes this role, Tom Holland. I mean, it made me sad how sad he was.
I also felt like Rya was very different when she spoke to Danny. Like, she's way nicer.
Yeah.
Than
versus
like the other times she talked to him.
Yeah.
Like, at least this time. I mean, the other episodes, I thought she was like kind of rough sometimes towards.
Oh, with Danny's personality. Yeah. Later.
Yes. But this time she was like, she felt really understanding and just curious to let him talk and
she gives him space.
Helpful.
Well, she's not even pushing him to talk. She's like, listen, just breathe. I'll get you some food. She's trying to make him comfortable. There was probably very little, if any, guidance on how to handle that situation back then, since it wasn't even a recognized disorder. So I think she's just winging it and doing a great job. Danny's grateful for the food. She's gaining his trust. And then there's a montage of many of her continued interrogations, most of which we've already seen the longer versions of. But now we have a much better context. And obviously, if anyone wasn't suspecting he had multiple personalities, it's very clear now. And that would change everything about these interactions.
Yeah. Did you guys notice the candy that he ate? Is that the candy like that every grandma has in their stash of candies? Because it kind of looks like one of those strawberry candies with like the green little.
I know what you mean.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like every grandma has those candies.
Totally.
I saw a meme on it, like, why does every grandma have these candies and like you can't purchase them anywhere?
Yeah,
like-
like I've never seen them in the store, I don't think. So
Yeah.
that is really funny.
What was the other thing she gave you?
It was like a cracker you get from like a vending machine or something. It was like an orange cracker with peanut butter in it.
Ooh, like Reese's Pieces or
No, it's of a similar like category as the candy you're discussing. Like not something you really go buy, but people have them. I guess you can buy them actually in a pack of like 10,
Right.
but they're not like high quality food.
Okay.
Back home, Raya's being a subpar mom again. Thank God for her mom, though. Her mom's basically being the mom to Ezra at this point, brings in groceries for them so they have eggs in the morning, while Rya works with a bottle of wine, which her mom talks shit about. And Rya remembers that she forgot to go up and read to her son. She tells her mom it's because she's working on a case about a boy who was hurt terribly, which her mom kind of points out as ironic. And then her mom asks what happened to him, and Rya admits if she's right about what happened to him, she wouldn't want to talk about it either. And then her mom reminds Rya of the turtle Rya used to use to express her feelings when she couldn't do it. Not so different from Danny, huh?
Yeah. Oh, the turtle. Turtle was the one that spoke about her feelings.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
interesting. Like, obviously, it is very different from what Danny's doing, but also it's similar. And, it's much more common thing for you could picture a kid doing, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering if the mother in this scenario thought like because Rya said he is a boy, that she thought like that he's really young, but in like he's already 18 in real life, right? Like
she did describe it differently.
He would not be considered a boy.
Yeah, she's viewing him as the child that he was, and
Yes.
so her mom wouldn't be understanding the story quite accurately. You're right.
Aren't all men boys until they're like 80 though?
Yeah.
80.
Valid point.
I think the average lifespan for a man is 78, right?
Oh.
Is it?
Pops is 87.
I think like women are 82 and men are 78 or something, or maybe it changed over the years.
Ew, 73 and women are 79.
Even worse.
That sucks.
That's surprising. I thought these days
So low.
it'll change though. It'll change definitely, like with all the meds and all the shit that we've got these days. Like
Oh, definitely.
it'll go up.
Back at Rikers, she's asking Danny for a happy memory again, but this time she leads into another question. Did he do something for you? Something that was very hard, something that only a brother would do, having to do with your stepfather, Marlon? And Danny tells her about the barn and how he would only ever take Adam inside. And obviously Danny feels tremendous guilt for that. We still don't know what happened to Adam afterwards, but we've had the confirmation she was looking for, that Marlon's sexual abuse is the traumatic event that broke Danny. And she walks out to her car and lets herself cry for him. Goes home and gets down on the floor and hugs her mom like she's a child while the Beatles' Let It Be plays. And then she goes up to her own boy and holds him. It really is like so fucking heartbreaking. I'll never, ever understand how a parent could ever hurt a child like that, or an adult ever hurt a child like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, I was just wanting to say the same. Like you reciting that scene again gave me like super goosebumps just now, because I remembered it as like, oh god.
Oh, it's so sad.
Especially with the song as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song was perfect. It made me more
Mhm.
heartbroken.
Yeah, Amanda was amazing in this.
And just like Danny in this whole episode has been so sad that it's just, it's a great episode of television, but it's just really heartbreaking to think of him going through that.
I love this generational thing, like that Rya is seeking consolation from her mom and then goes up to like cuddle with her son. So like this is, even though she's the adult, she still needs comfort from her mother, or like at least like we are all adults at some point, but we still at some point need just a hug or something to be better. And I love that they show this. And then that also like this was kind of a topic that when her mom said like, you will always love your kids no matter what they do, and even though you're an adult, you will just be their kids still. And
Yeah.
that never changes. And this was kind of a full circle moment for her, that she's just a child again in this little scene with her mom. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got sad just now when we were talking about life expectancy. I was like, oh, great. My parents were as good as dead. Made me sad as the kid.
No. Hey, Pops is 87.
Yes, that's inspiring. But yeah, it was a sweet scene.
Wait, who's 87?
My Pop.
Her grandfather. It's her grandfather.
Yeah.
But Dave's dad is 75, so
Do you not say Pops, or do you guys use that for just like your dad? Or
I think it could be used for dad.
mm.
But also it's grandpa here. Like, or my kids call my dad Pop. So anyway.
I actually think this might have been my favorite episode, actually,
Mhm.
thinking on it.
It's definitely mine.
It was really good. Also, shout out to the costume department. I really loved the trousers outfit in this last scene.
Rya's outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like it's kind of an empowering movement that she's like, wearing pants instead of
Pantsuit.
a dress. And like she looked really strong in that outfit, kind of like
Yeah.
independent.
And I've loved all the costumes from the time.
Oh, definitely.
They've been really like pretty though too. Like not some 70s clothes are like not, but she's looked great the whole time. I love this outfit.
Yep.
This is probably my favorite episode because we could finally like talk about stuff too. It's been really difficult the past few episodes talking about the show, but not things that we're thinking.
Dancing around the elephant in the room.
Right. Yeah. So, and obviously seeing Tom's performance, I've been looking forward to. So yeah, my favorite.
I know we've got like 4 episodes left, right? So I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen now. The performance and how everything unravels. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm really eager to see.
Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
All right. I think that's a wrap on our discussion of episode 6. Come back next week for episode 7. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.